Pastor Kagin, it is so good to have you here with us in the studio. Would like to talk to you a little bit about our seniors and some biblical wisdom regards to seniors and how they can have an impact in the next generation. So first, let me start off with this. Why should elders, senior citizens, why should they invest in the next generation?
It's an important question, and I think it really goes back to some of the instruction that Paul gave to Titus and Timothy, that the older generation should be teaching and investing in the younger generation. And a lot of times you hear inside of churches, you hear, well, we have a multi-generational church, and that's like a big deal in today's world, but that's really what the New Testament church was to be. And if there is a division between the generations, if there is not an interaction between the two generations, really it's not functioning as God intended for His church to function. So it's very important for the transmission of truth that the older generation does indeed teach to the younger generation. And consider what Paul told Timothy: commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. And that's really not just towards men, that's towards faithful women who will be able to teach others also, teach the next generation those truths, pass them on.
What about in society? How can seniors and elders invest in the next generation in society?
Yes, well, I believe that God is working through the church in this dispensation. And so when I look at the issues that are going on maybe in my city or in broader society, really the answer to that is in Scripture and in the church. He's working through the church in the world. So when I think of approaching those things in my city, I'm going to look at how is he going to do that through his church. And so, yes, it's very, very important. And we do see quite an age gap. And even something that's concerning me is seeing a little bit of an animosity sometimes of the younger generation towards the older generation. And I think sometimes that is because maybe they've been ignored. That's not a blanket statement. But the older generation needs to understand that there are young hearts that are looking for some input, not just criticism, looking for a listening ear, looking for some true mentorship, looking for some care. And so it's a crucial part of where we are in society. And I think the younger generation is very, very hungry for it.
If seniors understand that they are irreplaceable,
that's right,
then it changes the way they view life, and it changes what they do with their lives. Speak to what advice would you give to seniors? What can they practically do to impact the next generation?
Again, a great question, and I look at it through what I've seen working well in the church I pastor. I pastor in the Dayton, Ohio area. We're near an Air Force base. And when I first came to the church, a large amount of the church membership was older. We didn't see a lot of younger folks there. That has changed over the years, and I'm grateful for that. And one of the things that's really stood out to me about our members is just having a heart of love towards those that are walking through the door. It might be a single airman that's walking through the door, or just a young family. In fact, just a couple Sundays ago, I was interacting with a young couple that had visited for the first time. I said, hey, this is a church family. This is a church family. It isn't about you just coming and finding your age group. We're a family, and oftentimes that means we're together. So I said, sometimes you're going to get invited out to lunch before you know it, someone in another age group is going to invite you out to lunch. And they said, that already happened to us this morning.
How beautiful.
I watched a single airman in our church who's still a part of our church be adopted by an older couple that were in their 80s.
Wow.
Every single Sunday, that airman would go out to lunch with this couple, and they developed a wonderful relationship. And when this older couple had to retire and move, it was a difficult move for this young man. But watching them invest, and it wasn't just to that one person, but over and over towards the younger generation. I think that's really what it takes.
What words of advice do you have for the young generation? Why should they listen to seniors?
Well, one thing I would say, we're watching what many are saying is a revival among young men. And one of the things I see in the young men, I'm talking in their 20s, early 30s, is be slow to jump on bandwagons against the older generation. Satan is a divider. He always wants to divide people, keep them isolated. So I do see the propensity for the younger generation to jump on a bandwagon. Well, they're against all the the older generation, World War II, et cetera. They have an animosity. What did you leave us? Oh. And that's not a good thing to get into your heart. I mean, at some point you have to, even if there were some mistakes made by the older generation, as a younger person, you have to say, okay, God's allowed some of those things to happen, and here I am at this stage of my life. I'm going to appreciate what's right in front of me. And so I do think Satan tries to divide. And so my advice to the younger generation would just be very careful about jumping on those bandwagons.
Yeah, I love what Dr. Carson says, that we are not each other's enemies. We're not enemies. We're not.
Yeah.
And we need each other. And seniors are simply irreplaceable. And we need their wisdom. Right? We live in a wonderful country with lots of liberty and freedom. What words of advice do you have for the young generation? Why should they be grateful for the nation that they live in?
Again, they are being told by the media and by popular podcasters how to disparage and look down on our country, all of its evils. I would encourage them. They need to learn their history. We often look to people like wall builders and learn about our founding and how it was founded on biblical values and how that was a part of our country, and our freedoms are based in biblical values. They need to see that. They need to understand that and understand the context. And I would say there's going to be times where the younger generation really needs to learn to turn off some of all these negative voices that are always casting doubt, always putting a question mark. And remember, again, that's one of Satan's ploys, always to bring a question mark. And remember to be grateful for the freedoms that we have. I've traveled, not extensively, but outside the country, and I realize what we have in America is truly great and special, and it's worth fighting for.
Yes, and what word of advice do you have for seniors? We know that that's a generation that usually is a lot more grateful and appreciates the country, but what word of advice do you have for seniors? What can they do to instill this gratitude? How can they help the young generation?
Some of the older individuals that have impacted me the most and kind of stand out in my mind are happy people. Happy seniors, and they're grateful. They're not cantankerous, and I think that just modeling that to a younger generation, and even directed toward a younger generation. Thank the younger generation for their heart and for being inquisitive and for taking what you praise, you get more of. And I think if the older generation would look towards the younger generation, just model that for them. There's so many people that are angry and bitter, and there's some older folks that have become angry and bitter because they've been through some hurts. It's understandable. We all go through those. But to still model it, in your 70s and 80s, be modeling a gracious, joyful spirit, it's pretty powerful.
Contagious.
Yes.
Contagious. What about you personally? What are you most grateful for this nation?
I'm grateful for the freedoms. I think specifically, both my parents didn't grow up in wealthy, well-to-do environments. In fact, my mom was from Chicago, very broken background. And my dad went into the Marine Corps. He found Jesus Christ out in California and through a group called the Navigators that shared Christ with them. My mom, she suffered a lot in her childhood, a lot of brokenness, but she found Christ in her teenage years, and they met while training to be missionaries. And they came together and gave us a home. There's 6 children and 5 boys and 1 girl.
Oh, wow.
And they gave us a home that we weren't well-to-do. We didn't have everything that others had, but they gave us a home that was based in Christ. We weren't perfect, but it was based in Christ, and they gave us more than what they received. And I think it's just a testament to what can happen in this country, that even you don't have to have all the wealth of this world, but it gives us the opportunity to have that religious freedom, and that can truly make a difference. And I also very, very grateful that my parents did not pull me out of the being involved in the public arena from an early time in our childhood. We were around things that related to Christians being involved in the public arena and using your voice and standing for truth. All those things. I'm grateful that we had that opportunity here.
You had a perfect childhood, sounds like.
Wow.
What about if you can share an example of who impacted you the most, a senior, an elder, that impacted you the most in your life?
Well, there's a lot of names that come to mind. I would say beyond my dad, who was very, very consistent, I know my mom's prayers, but outside of that, as a young man, my pastor took a lot of interest in me. And I got to work alongside of him a lot. He deeply impacted me. He gave some key direction at key times of coming out of my teenage years, going into marriage, etc. And then I'd say inside of our church, I've been senior pastoring for just over 10 years, but before that there were some seniors that immediately, the first time I met them, I've been at the same church for nearly 19, but I remember a man just looking at me as a young man just fresh out of Bible college, and he goes, maybe you'll work here someday. And he was an older deacon in the church. And just to speak that hope, or that it wasn't disregard, it was acceptance.
Correct.
And I can think of some other seniors in the church, and some I've preached their funerals that majorly impacted me. Their love for Christ, their love for people, their walk with God. And even as a pastor in that church, I've been impacted by some seniors who love Christ and who are all in. And I have some others, I'm thinking of names right now of just folks that have come alongside of me as a pastor. They're in their 80s, but yet haven't given up on vision and going forward and saying, Pastor, if this is what you want to do, then we're behind you and we're with you. We'll make it happen.
Yes.
Those are blessings.
That wonderful stories. I guess with Wisdom Warriors, right, we were trying to bridge that generational gap. We want to encourage seniors to invest in the next generation. But more than anything is not to give up, because as they get older, of course, every season has its problems, but as you get older, not to give up. You realize that you are irreplaceable, and we want them to have an impact, just like so many had an impact in you, because we wouldn't be who we are today.
That is exactly right.
Had it not been for seniors. So thank you so much, Pastor. Lots to take in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.